Welcome to Cash vs Trash, the brand new series where we modify this car with as much cash as possible.
And this car with actual trash. I'm talking dumpster diving, recyclers, and if we can't get the parts out of the bin, we're going to get the cheapest stuff we absolutely can.
And we're going to find out at the end of this series whether you need to spend up to make your car mad or whether you can modify it with actual trash.
For our first Cash vs Trash adventure, we have picked up a couple of nuggets.
I picked up the cheapest registered Suzuki Swift Sport in Australia. It was $7,000.
And I picked up some pingers and a Peugeot for $3,000.
On the dyno, my Swift made 79.7 kilowatts.
The Peugeot spun up 72.3 kilowatts on the dyno.
When it comes to weight, the Suzuki Swift Sport is 1,090 kilos.
The Peugeot came in fractionally lighter at 1,048 kilos.
In totally stock form on the racetrack, the Suzuki Swift got a time of just over 1 minute, 1:00.45.
Around the racetrack, the Peugeot was around a second slower at 1:01.87.
The idea of the build and the modifications is to have cars that are really fun with a track focus for the weekend, but still retain their registration so we can use them on the street.
So we're going to begin modifying these things, and we're going to start with mods that we think are some of the best bang for buck you can do, and that is wheels and tyres.
Unlike my good friend over there who's going to be modifying his car with trash, he does have Subaru so he's used to that anyway, I'm going to be modifying my car with almost exclusively mad, high-end JDM parts, and these wheels are no different. So I got these imported from Japan through Import Monster. These are a set of WEDS TC105Xs. What do you need to know about these? They're made in Japan, they're light, there's racing pedigree, and they look the absolute business. WEDS wheels are designed and manufactured in Japan, and they've got various fitments and styles from road cars through to lightweight race wheels. The TC105X is a racing wheel offering incredible strength and lightness for the track. The wheels also utilise vacuum deposition of aluminium paint, an industry first, which means there's a smoother surface due to molecule overlapping. It means they're super shiny, and the colour tone shifts depending on the viewing angle. But all of this comes at a price. Oh, do you want to know how much they are? So these here cost exactly an amount that I'll tell you once I see what you've got.
All right, I'll show you mine. These are wheels. They are round. I don't know what car they are. I'm pretty sure they're a copy of a CE28. When I saw them, I thought they might be CE28, so I got very excited, which is a very well-known and quality wheel. They say Ford on them. They say Ford on them because the Peugeot shares a very stupid stud pattern with a Ford, which is 4x108, which means there's basically no wheels available for this car. But I'm hoping that I might have scored some excellent trash and they might work perfectly.
These are wheels. They've got 10 spokes on them and 8 holes, meaning they're multi-fit, which also means they're cheap. And they say Ford on them, but they're going to fit my Peugeot, which has a rare 4x108 stud pattern. They ended up at a metal recycler's where I picked them up for an absolutely unbeatable bargain.
So that's my wheels. It's time to talk about money. How much was that?
So mine, as I did mention already, are from Japan. They're an iconic brand. They're very good. They're quality. They're light. These, including wheel nuts, were...
Just say it, man. Just get it out.
These were $2,600.
I shouldn't be surprised. That is what wheels like that cost, but still... That's significant because they're just 17s, right?
They're 17s. So, Martin, now the question is, how much were yours?
I was digging around a scrapyard and I spotted these bad boys on a shelf. And I got excited because I thought they might have been CE28s. And I asked the guy that owns the scrapyard and I said, can I buy them? He goes, I don't know the condition of them, but you can have them for scrap value. And at the time, that was $2 a kilo, and these are roughly 7 kilos each. So I got these for around, I think it might have been $16 a wheel.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. $16 a wheel.
$16 versus, what's mine? $700?
Something like that.
$600 or $700 a wheel?
So there you go.
All right, so
17,
that's our wheel.
I think the specs are almost exactly the same too. Like, yep, same width, same size, stupid stud pattern, awesome stud pattern. Aside from that, my wheels are going to do just as good a job as that for basically no money.
Well, are they? Because here is the point of the show that we bring in an expert to assess my mad wheel and his trash. This here is Mark from Barrel Brothers. How you going?
How you
He
doing,
has
buddy?
been restoring, building, importing, making wheels for over a decade, and we're here to get your opinion on our cash versus trash. Can we start first with Japanese wheels? Tell us what you know.
Absolutely. What you've bought here is perfect for what you're after. They're a really good quality wheel. WEDS, SSR, Rays, all of those Japanese brands, they're just made out of quality materials. You can tell just by the lightness comparing the two wheels.
Yeah.
This is perfect. It's light, it's strong, exactly what you need.
And actual racing pedigree as well, right?
Oh yeah, WEDS, yeah. Have been around for like decades. They've been around since the late 70s, I think.
It's one thing they do really well, isn't it? There's like a massive list of all the sizes that they have, and you know that they've worked out it goes on a Swift, and you know they've worked out it goes on, a Subaru or whatever, and so generally they fit really well.
It'll fit perfectly.
Just a beautiful wheel. Now, speaking of beauty, can we come over here and have a chat about this one? You've had a little bit of experience with these wheels because I believe Marty actually sent you a couple.
Yes. This particular one was buckled, and Martin asked me if I could try and straighten it. I told him that it had probably cracked, didn't I?
Yeah, and that is what happened. What I'm interested to know is why did this crack and that's less likely to? Like, what's actually going on underneath
Well,
the paint?
it's the quality of the alloy itself. These would use a little bit of recycled in it.
Yeah.
Mostly, the earlier ones are all virgin alloy. These are made out of lawn furniture and Coke cans.
Literally recycled stuff sent to China, put in a smelter, poured into a
poured
mold
into
or
a wheel.
whatever.
They just don't have that. This wheel will take a really good hit. That won't.
Right.
Obviously.
Okay.
How can somebody sell that though?
I don't know. They go down a line and somebody whacks a little QC pass sticker on them as they go past, and
I mean, it looks like a wheel. It's the same size and specs as this. There's a lot of things that look the same.
it's quite a bit heavier though, isn't it?
It is heavier. That's one thing you know straight away. And the front's real heavy. Like the face of the wheel is really, really, like.
Well, they've got to
huge.
put a lot more material in it because the quality of the alloy is not as good. It's nowhere near as strong as that.
Clearly not enough, Ellen.
Clearly not enough, yeah.
Assuming it wasn't buckled and wasn't cracked, would
like the
you
other
run
three.
that on a track car, a race car?
No, absolutely not. A lot of people get this wrong. They just want cheap wheels for their track car. When you're going around a track, there's a lot more force put on your wheels. People don't realise that these bend and flex as you're going around. The only time that these really cop a hit, or those cop a hit, is when you're smacking up a gutter or going through a pothole.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense in some ways to go 230 k's an hour and save some money on some wheels.
People come to us and say, can you fix my wheel with a big crack in it? No, you can't. You try and weld them up, all the impurities come out, they're impossible to work with.
Would you fix this?
Yes. With this one, this will take a much bigger hit to start off with than this,
Okay.
just for the quality of the material in it. Honestly, spend your money with wheels.
Cash versus trash.
Absolutely.
It's cash.
It's cash.
So they're in the bin.
Well, unfortunately, yes.
I'm going to sort you out with something that is something that's budget conscious and also round.
So unfortunately for me, that means my wheels are going
In the bin.
To keep this comparison as fair as possible, we have to use the same tyres, and because it is a track-focused battle, we're using Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres. These are a 205/45/17 with this awesome laser-etched velvet touch sidewall here. Now the Cup 2 is a track-focused but street-legal tyre that was developed with Mercedes, AMG, Porsche and Ferrari, cars that are almost as good as my Swift and Marty's Peugeot. But something like this means that we're going to be able to legally drive to and from the track but have the performance of a track tyre. The Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 is the tyre for those looking for high-speed track performance while still being street legal. Designed for endurance, grip and control, a tyre like this not only helps with corner speed, but will also help with acceleration and braking. And Michelin sent these to us as sponsors of the show, so let's install them on the wheels. We're starting with the WEDS, and I've got a feeling that this fitment is going to look absolutely incredible on my little Suzuki Swift Sport. For the Peugeot, I picked up some replica wheels off the internet. Don't ask me what brand they are, they were cheap and they're copies of something devastating, I know, but most importantly, they're going to fit the exact same Cup 2 tyres to keep this as fair as possible. These cost around $250 each, and for the record, Marty didn't want them, but I bought them for him anyway, so this one's on me. While we're midway putting the wheels on the cars, we thought we might do a quick check of the weight. We are adding a lot more rubber, and we thought we'd do a comparison between the stock wheel and the aftermarket wheel with new rubber on it. So Martin, Peuge Bro.
One key difference is your stock ones are alloy and mine are steel. Steel wheels can be heavy, but it's a lot smaller. So that is 13.3 with a 185 tyre. Now we're going to a 205 on a 17-inch wheel, but now we've gone to alloy and we are at 17.15. So what's that, 4 kilos different?
4 kilos different.
4 kilos heavier. So 16 kilos overall, but heaps wider tyre, heaps bigger wheel, more room for brakes, all that sort of good stuff.
So over here on the old Swifty, we're going from this is our 205 45 16, and this one here is coming in at 15.95
pretty
kilos.
Good for a stock wheel.
And the WEDS, which more rubber but less weight in the wheel, is coming in at 16.15, so only 20 grams difference.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is actually incredible.
You've gone up to a 17, which also means more room for brakes.
Yep. So across all 4 tyres, I've added 80 grams. I've added a Mars bar.
Wow. And I've added 16. I've added like a lot more. But going from steelies that are a lot smaller, like the upgrading grip that I'm going to get from that is one of those areas where it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah. And your car was considerably lighter than mine anyway, so we're starting to close the gap. Of course, when it comes to track performance, we're talking about power and weight. The relationship between those will kind of equate into your track success. It may not necessarily equate to your happiness success, but it is the kind of the 2 major things that we need to look at. So at the end of all of this, we'll weigh each of the cars as well. We will work out some mathematical way. Maybe we'll use AI to see how big our smiles are.
Great.
Because you were smiling your face off last time you were driving this. Let's finish this off, mate.
So I've put on some weight with the wheels, and there's a little bit of work to make them fit properly, but with Peugeot power and Cup 2 traction, I'm going to be hard to beat off the line.
So there it is, the first and one of the most important mods is done, which is wheels and tyres.
Now, I would have happily just got some second-hand trash off Marketplace or out of a bin. Well, I tried to get out of a bin, that didn't work.
The reason that we can't just get something out of the bin is because we need to run the same tyres to actually make this fair. We can't really see what the difference is between spending a lot and spending a little if one person has a vastly inferior tyre. So because we're both running Michelin Cup 2s, both the same specs, I needed to find some wheels for him that would actually run the same tyre, and because his car is absolute trash, there's hardly any wheels available for it. You just can't get anything.
It's not an MX-5 or a Civic or something with a really common stud pattern. Actually, the Swift has one, 5x114. That's really common. That's on so much stuff. This is on 2 models of car.
So when it comes to wheels and tyres, I'm just going to say, is it cash or trash? It's absolutely cash in my book. But what do you think? Please let us know. And next episode, we're going to be diving into coilovers. It's going to be fun. Well done, Martin. Yeah, it's going to be great. My wheels cost half as much as my car.